Hey team, hope you're well. Coming at you now with a new report. We're hoping to start a new media news report. Uh, we're not sure exactly about the details of how regular this report will be, but we want to call it G2S, Green to Stay Eco Bounty News. The news with a tinge of mutiny. And the idea of this news is that we actually take back our countries, our planet, our right to a hopeful and good future. That's the idea behind the news segment, and we want to do this in a sustainable way. We want to do this in a fair way. We want a fair, just new world. There's no excuse for the kinds of inequality which is being perpetuated by the establishment now. We should be utilising the technology and the innovation, and we should be working hard to get developing economies out of poverty. We want to get all these children out of poverty. We want them educated. We want them contributing positive results to their communities worldwide. So that's sort of like the gist of the idea of the news segment that we want to start. And on that note, we're just going to, we felt compelled that we would start a quick video, this first video, with a couple of points, but we feel compelled we have to make. We've noticed that to all our freedom fighters, we respect you, we support you worldwide. But I noticed there's a little bit of a tinge with a doubt about climate change. Some people feel that climate change is not a credible threat. So we really have to do some research in that area. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a climate scientist, but I've spoken to many scientists. I've researched this particular topic about climate, and it's not a fake perpetuation by the establishment. It is a tangible threat. You just have to see the types of results that are happening around the environment, around the glaciers. We're talking about glaciers that are millions of years old, that have never been affected. In the last 70, 80 years since industrialization, these glaciers are melting worldwide. Places that have probably never been touched. They're causing massive floods around the world. So my encouragement, I'm not going to criticize you. I understand your skepticism about what the establishment message is. Unfortunately, they've lost a lot of credibility, the establishment, because I feel that the main reason is because the lack of empathy that our leadership around the world has shown to communities and to working people around the world. They've lost respect, they've lost credibility, and it's their fault because they're not communicating the right facts and the right scientific messages, and they're running ahead with data which is unjustified in making policies. These policies which are unjust. And I understand your skepticism, but when it comes to climate, I'm not saying trust me. I'm saying you really should go do some research regarding the climate. Some of the terrible things that are happening with the environment worldwide. You can even go onto my YouTube playlist. You can just look at Climate International there, Green to Stay YouTube playlist, Climate International. It's unbelievable. It's quite terrifying what's happening with floods and these temperature rises worldwide. So maybe you could do that. Anyway, but I do understand your skepticism and your doubt when it comes to doubting what the globalists are saying regarding different threats, because they've used these policies to basically manipulate the economic injustice, to perpetuate this economic injustice that they've been doing. Now, I don't want to go too much into that. That's just a quick thing. The other point I want to make is I want to talk about fossil fuels. On the same note, about fossil fuel subsidies. The fossil, I don't know if you're aware, but there is the Dutch farmers are feeling threatened. They feel that their work, that their heritage, traditional work lifestyles, and contributions they've made for the food industry in the Netherlands, they feel that they're being unjustly treated, and I probably would have to agree with them, because I'm looking at the fossil fuel subsidies. On one hand, the establishment is saying that they need to cut nitrates and these sorts of things in various industries. But on the other hand, the G20 countries, I'm reading this report, it's a Yale Environment report. I'll leave a link with this report, and it tells us that the fossil fuels received 5.9 trillion in subsidies in 2020. So we need to put our leaders. They're becoming distant from everyday people. They're becoming arrogant and ignorant. And I just want to say this to the establishment, that you really should go back and look at history, because one thing that history lessons have shown us is that no empire, no government, no power is simply there for its own perpetuation. It's not government or empire for government or empire's sake. Okay, you need to communicate. You need to include your communities. We need to go forward. We want to go forward as communities and peoples worldwide. We don't want to go backwards, and we don't want to perpetuate this unjust economic monopoly board game. We want a new game. We want a new economy, a fair economy. So I don't know what you're thinking by clamping down on the Dutch farmers, but by the same token, these countries are giving 5.9 trillion in subsidies to fossil fuels. A couple of points that I thought were interesting in this report. It works out roughly coal, oil and natural gas received 5.9 trillion in subsidies in 2020, or roughly 11 million every minute. Okay, so this gross hypocrisy by the establishment, by the globalists, has to end. Where do you think you're going to push? How are you going to hide these facts? There's so many facts. Now, knowledge should change everything. Traditionally, I have supported certain political alignments, even in this country, in Australia, but knowledge should change everything. And I see that the establishment here in Australia is working along these lines of, any old blue or any old red will do. This current government, you just scraped in. You didn't win the election. The opposition lost. So I'm appealing to your sense of logic, your sense of reason, to not get too cocky. Okay, don't treat the people give the people the respect they deserve, because these facts now are widely available, and this knowledge should change the way that you are dealing with strategies. The other thing I want to touch on quickly, I want to keep this video for under 10 minutes, is what's with this perpetuation of arms industries worldwide. What are you thinking here? What are you thinking with all these weapons going to certain countries? Are you keeping a tally of these weapons? Because reports indicate that these weapons are ending up on the black market, and I really believe that these weapons will come back and bite the West, bite the NATO countries right on the backside, because this is not the way forward. This is not the way forward. This Cold War mentality is not the way forward. It's not the way we want to go, and it doesn't make any sense. I grew up with it in the 80s, and I personally, we're not gonna tolerate it. So I want you to get that into your minds. Anyway, we're gonna keep this under 10 minutes. This is Green to Stay Eco signing out. Make eco fun. Thanks for your support. Bye.